When pickleball was first played at Bainbridge Island, little did the founders dream that the sport they started from their courtyard would take this giant stride throughout the world. Pickleball arrived in India in 2007, courtesy Mr. Sunil Valavalkar. He played the sport in the US and was so impressed that he carried paddles and balls in his return baggage.
While coming to India in 2007 from Cincinnati, I was gifted paddles from Barry Mansfield, who was my host father. And from these paddles, I spread this pickleball all across India.
The All India Pickleball Association was formed as the premier organizing body in India. Under the leadership of AIPA, people started joining in and the group started getting bigger and better.
I'd heard of pickleball in 2010. That AIPA was the only association that was promoting pickleball right from the start. And there were not many courts and all that. So we used to play probably once a month or maybe, once in 2 months, somewhere, wherever you found place.
Most of us, like me and many other players, we started to play this sport only as a recreational sport. So this game had a very unique thing where if a pickleball was going on and there was a passerby who used to watch the game, I used to call them, come on, let's play, let's try this game.
Some played for fun, some played to remain active. But in the backdrop, pickleball was gradually cementing its place in Indian sport.
I was determined to keep this sport as less costly, as affordable to all of us. These kind of paddles were earlier I used to promote. Because of that cost, my friends came across and we made paddles in India. Then even I made from my local carpenter this kind of paddles, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that paddle, the green logo, the paddle is very unique because it gives the same stroke that of these wood paddles were giving.
It was a time when pickleball was having a global change. A gentleman named Erland Paranto, who was a Boeing industrial engineer, used honeycomb to make composite pickleball paddles.
Composite paddles basically have a honeycomb inside, and once there is a honeycomb, you have a sandwich of surfaces.
With the invention of composite paddles, the sport, which was once predominantly played for entertainment and fun, started taking the shape of a competitive and commercial one. But in India, it was still played with wooden paddles, till the day when the composite one was first used by Atul Edward.
We played about 6 months before I got the composite paddle in my hand. The wooden paddles were much heavier. The composite paddles, there was less vibration when we played. And of course, the sweet spot. With the composite paddle, it's always better to hit with the center, but even if it hits on the side, the ball still has a certain level of power and the ball still goes across in a much better fashion.
And perhaps that time could be marked as the beginning of evolution of pickleball paddles in India.
From 2015 onwards, the flood of composite paddles made from USA started pouring in India and in Mumbai especially. The foreign paddle manufacturers also started appointing players as their dealers, and because of their appointment as dealer, plethora of paddles started pouring in.
There are multiple brands in India. You have Franklin, you have Selkirk, you have Yola. We have to be grateful to Franklin and all these companies like Selkirk who supported Indian Pickleball, and today at the moment we have so many brands.
But the cost of imported paddles were becoming a concern for players coming from humble backgrounds.
We realized that the cost of the paddle and the balls was prohibitive in India because the paddles at that time used to cost about 10,000 and the ball used to be about 300.
AIPA was determined to bring down the cost of paddles. They wanted to make pickleball accessible to all. So, in 2021, the Made in India paddles were born.
We identified certain manufacturers and equipment providers and material supply people in China, and we formed a company known as YMak.
So we tried to keep a name, the Indian standards के नाम देके पंचतत्व के नाम दिए. आरंभ means to start with. So उसको नाम आरंभ दिया है. बाद में अग्नि Vayu and Brahma. The quality is not compromised. The same paddle costing Arambha costing rupees 3,000 is in higher market USA paddle is 12,500, 15,000 rupees.
The cost was brought down without compromising the quality. Pickleball paddles are now available for one and all across all sections and strata of the Indian society.
पिछले 3 साल से मैं YMak यूज कर रहा हूँ. मुझे फॉरेन पैडल में जो फील लगता है वही फील मुझे इधर भी लगता है फॉरेन YMak पैडल में. अभी यह YMak का नया मॉडल आया है. मैं इसमें बहुत चाहता हूँ कि इसमें अभी शिफ्ट होना है कार्बन पैडल में. तो अभी मेरा प्रैक्टिस इस पे चालू है थोड़ा.
The success of Indian paddles encouraged manufacturers to trade in the unknown path of pickleball ball manufacturing.
I am a TT player and we started this pickleball around COVID. The first problem I faced was I had to every time wait for the balls. The balls were around 400 rupees and the wait time was 20-25 days. So here I found there is an opening for India to manufacture these balls.
We had very few references, we had very few videos or online content to see how the manufacturing actually worked. We identified the right raw material, the right manufacturing process. So we are into molding and merging the ball into two halves into one ball. So it took us around 1 year or so to achieve the right bounce, the right play game, the right hardness for our players.
And we created first ball and showed it to Arvind Datta. So Arvind Datta said, okay, you have done so much, just go ahead and create 1,000 balls. And he gave me the first order of 1,000 balls.
So our manufacturing earlier was very difficult, but slowly and steadily after a year or so, when we became very confident, we did a automation machine development in-house in India.
The presence of international brands along with Indian paddles has exponentially opened up the Indian market. Pickleball goods are now easily available in premier stores and sports shops.
We've seen not only the paddles change, but the demand for the paddles that has changed by miles. Like you can say, right from rock bottom till where it is right now.
To keep pace with this rapidly increasing commercially viable market, the younger players have to be more selective while choosing the paddles for them.
Fiberglass paddle is always known for its response. When you are learning the game, the paddle contribution has to be, little on the higher side, so kids can attach to game really fast. And going forward, once you acquire certain skills, then you can start using different carbon material. See, again, the age and the weight comes into play. Because if somebody who is, let's say, 20 kg or say 30 kg of the body weight can't handle the 16 mm paddle or the paddle weight, which is around 220 or 230 grams, the response or the recoil is again relative to this thickness.
The explosion of pickleball market has brought in many manufacturers. So for stringent monitoring, there are talks of opening a paddle testing laboratory in India.
USAPA had their own system of testing the paddles, and USAPA is a country-specific organization. So this particular standardization testing procedure should usually be followed by a governing body. We thought, why not we have a testing agency in India, wherein any paddles, any manufacturer who wants to come into the Indian market, we have a testing mechanism. We have done this process through Dr. Peshne. He has come out with a elaborate manual on testing facilities.
Dr. Sunil Peshne's testing manual includes paddle dimension test, surface roughness test, gloss test, and paddle deflection test.
AIPA is in the process of setting up a full-fledged laboratory in India, especially in Mumbai. This laboratory will be NABL accredited, which is government accreditation. We expect this laboratory to start from November 2024. So what is the ultimate aim of this equipment standards and equipment testing laboratories? And because we all want a fair competition among the players on the court, and also a fair competition among the equipment manufacturers, paddle and ball manufacturers.
The paddle evolution has hugely contributed to the development of pickleball in India. With ups and downs, highs and lows, agreements and disagreements, pickleball and paddle evolution will move along, and history will definitely keep a track of this chronology.